So how do most folks react to change? Oh my God, no. Oh. Layoffs, downsizing, right-sizing, call it whatever you want, flattening, causes panic. Will I pay the bills? Anger, why me? I'm going to sue them. All of this stuff. It's really major, and it comes from change. It comes from flattening the organization. Maybe it's a merger or something like that. It's real. It is real. And you have to deal with it, or you're going to have all kinds of problems. They talk to the press. Bad press, you don't need that. Bad PR, no, you don't need that for your company. You don't need lawsuits. Let's look at the three kinds of change. There are three. The first one is developmental. Now, developmental is sort of a hit and miss. It's, I think we need to do some change. Let's see where this goes. This really isn't working too well, but, I don't want to necessarily set an end goal. Let's just try this and see where it goes. You may not have an end goal in sight. Then you have transitional change. Transitional, small steps. You don't do it all at once. Small steps, but you do have an end goal in mind. Lastly, transformational. Transformational is rip the whole thing apart. Start from scratch, just rip it all apart and start from ground zero. This is transformational. This is what IBM did. They were having all kinds of problems with competitors nipping at their heels. In fact, one person said they were not only nipping at IBM's heels, they were eating the whole foot and knee up to the knee. So IBM had to do something, and they just ripped the whole thing apart, started from scratch, all the processes, everything. They looked at everything in the organization and redid it all. That's called transformation. So what are we looking at in terms of areas for change? What do you change? Well, the first thing you could look at is strategies. Strategies for all kinds of things. Your strategies for manufacture. Do you have the right ways to do things? Do you have the right accounting methods, strategies for marketing with the customer? The customer is king, let's face it. Without the customer, you're out of business. No jobs, no business, no nothing. You're out of business, you're gone. So, best to look at competitors and like organizations and benchmark how you're doing against them. Do you have silos everywhere, silos that don't talk to each other? So is it strategic to the organization? I'll tell you a story. A major movie company, motion picture company in Hollywood, we worked with for quite some time. They had nothing but silos going on in that organization. Production was a silo, accounting was a silo, marketing was a silo. They weren't talking to each other, and it was chaos. So we went in and kind of straightened it all out. First, you have pressure for change. You got to build a sense of urgency, or there is a sense of urgency, and that is the pressure that you're feeling for the change. All right? Next, you have a clear shared vision. Once you have the pressure established, everybody agrees we got to do something. Now you got to get a clear vision. You don't want to have a scattered vision. That's not going to work. You got a clear vision, which means you got a clear view of tomorrow. What are we doing tomorrow? Where are we going with this? Then you got to look at the capacity for change. You have the money, you have the people, you have the time. And then you've got, of course, the actionable first step. After you've done all of this, you got to establish what are we going to do first. If you've got a whole bunch of people that have to sign off on whatever change is happening, it's going to take you forever. And guess what? The ones who are the carping skeptics who don't want to do change are going to put this stuff at the bottom of their inbox. And it's not going to move forward, if at all. Get a sense of how can you tell others about the successes that have happened because the change has been implemented. What has changed? Did you bring some new customers in? Is the manufacturing process faster? When you see a carping skeptic. Take that person aside and do your thing. Talk about why it has to happen, why the change is important. Because if we don't do it, we're not going to be as efficient. We're not going to be making the kind of money that we're supposed to be making. We're going to lose customers. Whatever those issues are, explain it to them and see what they have to say. And then listen to them, and you perhaps, in the new vision, use some of what they say. Who is a skier here? Anybody a skier? Anybody? You are? Tell me, what did you do the first time you fell down? What did you do?
I probably cried.
You cried. You cried. Well, then what did you do?
Got back up.
You got back up. Exactly. You fall down, you get back up. And that's what happens when you're making mistakes. You fall down, you get a sense of what happened, you get back up. Chrysler was going down the tubes. Lee Iacocca came in, and he changed the whole thing. He brought it back. And what did he do to bring it back? He said he put the dissenters in charge, and then he got out of the way. And in many cases, again, the carping skeptics, the dissenters, you put them in charge of something, and they're going to put their ideas into it, and it's going to work.